What is up, everybody? Brett here, back today with some more big news, some unexpected news today from Total War Warhammer 3. It started off, I woke up this morning and I saw that there was a blog on Greasus and Scrag and their campaign mechanics and all that stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. I know what I'll be making a video on today. And I read it a little, I read a little bit of it, and I was like, you know what? This is going to be good. This is going to be a good day. Fast forward a few hours, I'm sitting on my exercise bike, going through YouTube looking for what the new hotness is, watch something, and then I see 13 minutes ago is posted this glorious trailer. So finally we get a look at Nergal, we get a look at Slaanesh, and I'm gonna play the trailer, guys. You know what, I should put, is this on already? I think this is already on. Captions, you want the closed captions on because this trailer is kind of hard to understand because they're speaking with demonic accents. So we'll full screen it. We'll watch it together. Actually, you know what? I'll leave it just like this. I'll leave it like this. You guys have probably already watched this. So let me go ahead and back it up a little bit here. I probably won't be pausing it. I'll just kind of talk over it because, like I said, I'm sure you guys have seen it. You can see at the top here, I've got the Nurgle and Slaanesh rosters pulled up. I've got some screenshots that people posted to Reddit, and I've got Reddit pulled up as well for any additional information. And we'll just hang out and talk about this stuff. I've got a little bit of learning to do as well when it comes to the rosters. I don't always know the names for some of these creatures, but yeah, we'll learn a little bit about it together. So without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and play the trailer. It's very good. It's very hype. You know what? I will full screen this. So already you see like high elf statues in a ruined city with the voice of perhaps Nergal whispering to him.
Pact with the architect.
Architect refers to Tzeentch.
It is fickle.
We get a little Slaanesh voice in there.
So close. Never enough.
The female statues turn into, I think they're Demonets of Slaanesh. And these guys look very Nurgle-ish. They look like the bad guys in Vermintide. Not the Skaven, obviously. There's the symbol of Nergal just laying in the grass. And obviously, guys, this is the advisor from all of the previous games. Looking younger. Perhaps before he was fully corrupted by chaos. He's not blind anymore. There's no white crow or white raven on his shoulder. Check out those models, y'all. Oh my god. So sick. Those animations are unbelievable. And there we go. Our first look at Nikari. The first thing I thought when I saw him was Illidan from Warcraft 3. He's got the curved back horns, you know, not wings, but those secondary giant claws kind of act like wings. Exit the full screen here. And there we go. How sick was that trailer? A little bit of a cool, like, homage to what I think, I don't know too much about the fantasy history of the elves, the divide between the dark elves and the high elves. I know a little bit about it. But to me, it was very reminiscent of, if you think of the Eldar from 40K, how their society existed for so long. Eventually, they were corrupted by their own, like, decadence, right? And then they split off into, Dark Eldar and normal Eldar. But that's kind of like what the story, kind of like the undertones of the story of this little trailer were. This high elf city that fell apparently to like demonic influence. But very cool. And the advisor, who knows what that even means. But it was sick. And obviously we could go through the trailer and like pause at different scenes and try to see, any particular units that we might, let's see, we can scroll a little bit. Because there are definitely like screenshot worthy moments in here where you can really see some of the units we'll be getting. It's a little blurry. I know some of these off the top of my head, just from being exposed to Warhammer fantasy culture over the years. I know Keeper of Secrets, right? Obviously, that's the big centerpiece unit. It's not Nikari because it has a shield. We see here some of the, you see little Nurglings interspersed throughout with like plague toads. Kogath is right here, right up front and center. So guys, that's the trailer. It's sick. It's a good trailer. It's hard. It's always hard to compete with the previous trailers that have come out before because they're always so good. We've got a couple extra good screenshots here. You know what we should do? Let's look at the roster first because all of these screenshots are of Nergal. So we'll come over here. Kogath is the Plague Father. He's the one in the trailer. He's going to be the starting legendary lord for Nergal. He's on his palanquin that's carried by like a swarm of never-ending little Nurglings, these little cutie guys. And he looks sick. Absolutely sick. And these are some of the other options. Festus the Leech Lord, the Glotkin I'm very familiar with from like the End Times lore and stuff like that. But as we scroll down here a little bit further, there's some legendary heroes. We won't bother too much looking at that. Lord options, the Exalted Great Unclean One. You can see it in the trailer. There's a moment where you can see one of these in the background. Expect that to be the generic Lord choice for sure. I don't know if Chaos Maggots of Nergal will make it in. I don't know, Demon Princes of Nergal will make it in. I'm sure some of them will. We've already seen the insectoid type models from there. We have the Herald here with the bell. Exalted Hero. I saw an axe in one of the cutscenes, like the axe held like really high. I wouldn't be surprised if that was an Exalted Hero. And a Chaos Sorcerer. I'm expecting all of these to make it in. The generic units to make it in. But here we go. The units that I really wanted to get to. The Nurglings, who appear to swarm and attack a unit, like a Chaos Marauder or probably a Slaaneshi Marauder. They swarmed him, and I don't know if that's going to be an actual animation in the game, or if that is going to be just something that they did for fluff for the trailer. I hope it's in the game. I want more animations, as many as possible. The standard boys here are going to be the Plague Bearers of Nergal. Expect to see these more often than not. Chosen of Nergal. We've already seen Chosen for the other factions. Hopefully, not just a recoloring. Hopefully, we don't just get green Chosen. There's a big, kind of kerfuffle going on. That's a good use of the word kerfuffle. In the kind of Reddit forum sections about people being upset because Khorne new units look sick. The mortal units that they have in their dope-looking, iconic Khorne armor. However, the Tzeentch units just look like normal Chaos units that are already in the game, just colored blue. So we're hoping that for Slaanesh, for Nergal, and for Tzeentch, they change that up. They fix the Chaos ponies. They make the horses bigger. They give them unique helmets, unique shields, unique weapons. And then, if you got to recolor a little bit, you got to recolor a little bit. But it shouldn't be as bland as it is now, in my humble opinion. You don't want to do as much work as they've obviously done to make so many of these other units and things look beautiful, only to drop it, to fumble it right at the 5-yard line or whatever, to use a football analogy, and to have a turnover. So, Chaos Rotblood Marauders, these dudes look sick. We've got Putrid Blight Kings. They look awesome as well. Very cool. I don't know how these guys function. I don't think I've ever seen them before. To me, they look almost like aspiring champions, like in the way they may function. Pestigors. I was so hoping we would see Beastmen units in all the demonic rosters. I think if they're, I don't know if I should say it like that, but I was going to say, I think if they're smart, they'll add at least one to every roster. Just for unit diversity, for the people that love them. They're probably not that hard to put in the game. The Beastmen already exist. All you gotta do is modify Bestigors, give them new clothes, new weapons, whatever. Maybe not even. I don't know. I don't know how hard it is. I don't know how hard it is to make these, but it probably isn't that hard. We've got the Chaos Knights of Nergal. We've got the Rot Knights of Nergal. Pox Riders. We saw these guys. We saw the Toads. We saw the Plague Riders. I don't know if we saw any Chariots of Nergal. We saw the Plague Drones, the big insects buzzing around. I don't know if they had riders, but maybe they did. Plague Drones of Nergal, Death Heads, so probably a stronger variant. The monsters, we saw the Plague Toads, the big boys. Did we see any Plague Ogres? I'm not sure. We definitely saw Chaos Spawn. Bile Trolls look sick. I hope they make it in. There's the Chaos Spawn, looking very different, though I expect them to look more similar to other Spawn. We definitely saw the Beasts of Nergal. If you go back and watch it, you can see in several shots, and we'll see in some of these screenshots here. Look, there they are right there. There's the Toad with the guy on his back. Anything else? This guy's obviously front and center. Oh, you can see. Okay, you can see that some of them are being ridden by guys if we zoom. Enhance. CSI enhance. But it looks like maybe... No, maybe they all are being ridden, and it's just some of the riders are kind of obscured. Yeah, this is the what do they call this guy? Was he the Plague Bearer? Is that what he was? You can see his bell here. Yeah, and just a lot of the other standard units. I'm looking kind of for the specialty units. This guy, what is he called? There's a Toad Dragon. Hopefully that makes it in. A Great Unclean One. Those are pretty obvious. And then Chaos Warshrine. What is this? I don't know what his title is. But he looks awesome. Is this not Kogath, maybe? Hold on, let's go back to the top. Because Kogath has this like whip here. But no, you know what? Maybe I need to look at him a little bit better in the actual trailer. Is he holding a bell? Because I'm thinking maybe he has a mounted and unmounted option, and that's what's confusing me. Maybe you don't get his palanquin until later. But here he's not holding a bell. So that's got to be a different unit, and I just don't quite know what it is. Let's look at the Slaanesh roster while we're here. And starting off here, we have Nikari. I'm not sure where this model comes from, but definitely they went with less boobs. Which is fine. I gotta say, I love the new model. I think the new model looks incredible. There's no complaints from me, for sure. I wasn't particularly attached to any of these older models, and we're going to go past all these legendary heroes and units. I wish there were way more legendary heroes in the game. That would be sick. We've got the Exalted Keeper of Secrets, which we saw in the trailer. Only difference, there was a shield on this lower, that would be the left arm. But in all other ways, identical. You can even see if you pause it and you look at the screenshot, you can see that it has the identical horns. Love the hooves, love the legs. Demon Prince. Chaos Lord of Slaanesh riding one of these super creepy things. I don't know what they're called. Maybe they'll have the names down below. Just like snakes with boobs. Very, very creepy. Chaos Lords, we've got the Anointed Druki Lord. Hope they all make it in. Heralds, okay. God, I love the color scheme. Normally not the biggest fan of the old purples and pinks, but expecting the Sorcerer's variations to make it in. I don't know if I'm expecting the Druki versions to make it in. The Dark Elf version. So the Demonets, we saw them front and center in the trailer several times, charging in, looking very similar to the Sisters of Slaughter, but they did have their telltale hooves. They all had kind of like this ponytail motif. Very cool. God, the Chosen of Slaanesh look like this in the game. How stoked would we all be? We saw Marauders, clearly. Let's see. Druki. Maybe they make it in. Maybe they don't. The Gorgon Guard. These guys look cool. I've never seen those before. Slaangors. Once again, we hope that all the Beastmen units do make it in, but I've seen no sign of it yet. I wouldn't count them out for DLC down the line or FLC. Maybe one day they'll release yet another Beastmen DLC, and then maybe they'll throw that in there. That I could see that being kind of a clever way to do it. Get people hyped for it. Chaos Knights, I expect them to be awesome for Slaanesh. I think Slaanesh is I think it's more of a Cav focused faction in comparison to the other factions of the demon forces. The Seekers of Slaanesh, we saw these dudes for sure. These things are so creepy. They're like lizards had babies with anteaters. But we saw these running in the trailer. We definitely saw those. Hellstriders. I saw these too because I saw this shield. I remember seeing this shield for like a split second in the trailer. So I think we do have both Seekers and Hellstriders. Probably just better armored variants. Let's see. Pleaser, Seekers of Slaanesh. Lots of boobs. Lots of boobs. Okay, then we also have the Chariots here. Chariots of Slaanesh. These are basic chariots. But these are the ones, the Seeker Chariots of Slaanesh. And I guess these things are just called Seekers, perhaps, huh? I don't know. I don't know what... Yeah, maybe they're called Seekers. I don't know what the names of the actual monsters are. But Seeker Chariots, and then we saw Exalted Seeker Chariots, the ones that are really long with the, additional monsters pulling them. Hellflayers? Perhaps we saw Hellflayers as well. I don't know. They all look very similar. They're just bigger variants with more or less creatures pulling them. Oh, we definitely saw the Fiend do a sick, scorpion move. Competing with the Plague Toad. For who has the cooler appendage. Chaos Spawns. Don't expect them to look as cool as that. We got the Keeper of Secrets here. Big centerpiece unit. The Chaos War Shrine. That looks awesome. Look at these crazy units carrying it. That would be sick to make it into the game. But, okay, so that's all the units I think that we saw. I don't know if we saw anything outside of what's been listed on these two Total War forum pages. If we go to Reddit, the memes are already alive and well, and happy to see it. She comes. What else? The Keeper, yeah. People having opinions. Our boy is starting shit again? Absolutely. Dude, go home, man. Stop looking for chaos. We've got, what else? The filth. That's a good screenshot. The same old Mortal Empires and Vortex campaigns. Me. And then Nikari. Love it. The memes must flow. Very cool picture of a great unclean one there. Okay. I don't know if there's anything particularly new on Reddit, but I did want to look at these screenshots. We have some additional ones here. Any additional units here? We see multiple additional great unclean ones. You get a really good look at Kogath's model here. You can see all the Nurglings and things swarming underneath his palanquin. You can see all the little details of a palanquin. They look incredible. He's got a little cage on the back with a guy in it. Let's see. And then the last picture here. I don't know what these are supposed to be. Maybe they're just kind of ornamental for the map. The map looks great from what I can see of it. But they look like overlords from StarCraft. But I think that's going to be it, guys. I think that's all I have for you today. We could go to... Let's see. Let's go Total War. And just look real quick at Grecius and Scrag. And just see if there's anything. I mean, there's a lot. It's actually, now that I've done this, there's a lot of information here. We learn about their starting armies. Pretty identical. Grecius gets himself. He gets a unit of Noblars. He gets the Saber Tusks and 2 standard guys. I would think he would have got some of his Iron Guts to start with. But if you look at Scrag, he gets the identical army, except instead of the Saber Tusk, he gets the Gorgers. So, and we get to look a little bit at the UI. We get to see the meat here. We get to see the encampment mechanic icon here. We get to see, I know I'm jumping around a lot, guys, but there's a lot to talk about here, and my voice is already starting to go. Turns out I probably had COVID last week. Yeah, some of the guys that I trained jiu-jitsu with, I ran into one of them yesterday on a run, and he's like, yep, me and my son both had COVID. We tested positive, and he's a doctor, so yeah, he was able to test. And I had rolled with him and sparred with him and his son the day before I started getting sick. So the whole my throat swelling up and being incredibly painful seems like it was definitely COVID. So I'm already starting to struggle as I've been talking for 20 minutes. But the Goldtooth faction effects, diplomatic relations plus 20 with Ogre Kingdoms, income from trade plus 25%, and then unit mass plus 25% being interesting, meaning they'll probably be able to crush on the charge if you add that to their Ogre charge ability. That specialty charge that they all get. And then his legendary lord effects, income from raiding plus 50% in his army, income from sacking and looting settlements plus 50%, and then upkeep minus 50% for Iron Gut units, as it should be. So that's how they're representing kind of his bodyguard structure, which is very cool. And that's going to be a lot of money, I'm sure, over the course of a long game. And then here, just to zoom in on this, get a chance to see his stats. I'm sure his unique weapon, which I don't see at the top here where it normally is. Ah, that's right. They made new UI. It'll probably be under quests. But I'm sure once he gets that, his weapon strength goes through the roof, his unique weapon. Anything here? He's got Tribe Stealer, Drake Crush, Goldtooth, and Over Tyrant as part of his kind of special looking skills that he can unlock. I'm also seeing he does have what appears to be several buffs for Noblars. I'm seeing at the top Sword Noblars, Lookout Noblars, Lucky Noblars, Grease Noblars, and then looks like maybe Sneaky Noblars off to the side. I would love to make a Noblar army. And then Scrappy Fighters probably has something to do with Noblars as well. And then I'm sure if you go down here, you'll probably be able to unlock more Noblar stuff. And then there's the Tech Tree. We could probably unlock more Noblar. Oh my god, I'm making an all Noblar army. Just screw ogres. I'm just going full Noblar. Let's see. Wait. Let's go back. There we go. Oh, and it tells you what they are. Okay. So just to let you know what some of the specialties are. Tribe Stealer, large buffs to Over Kingdom's relations and melee attack and weapon strength while fighting them. Goldtooth is a big buff to leadership and armor for his army, his whole army. Drake Crush, bonus damage versus large. And then Over Tyrant, additional casualty replenishment, recruitment rank, and local recruit capacity for his army. That's very good. And then he also has bespoke big names. Very cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to play as Greasus. He's probably the one that I'm the most excited about in terms of Ogre Kingdoms. Yeah. Let's see. But it says he can, you know, he doesn't start with the, they actually mention what I said. It's not a big honor guard, but he can recruit very quickly based on the mechanics. Okay. So for Scrag, not to be outdone, campaign movement range plus 10% for all characters. We've seen this similar effect before. I'm not sure why he would benefit from that. Lore-wise, I mean, maybe it makes sense. He's kind of this inexorable, ever-moving character looking for food. Hero capacity plus 1 for butchers, and hero recruit rank plus 2 for butchers. Looking to have a very butcher-heavy presence in his armies. Let's see. His legendary lord effects, casualty replenishment rate plus 8% for Gorger units, which is cool because they're unbreakable. So they'll probably, and they're lightly armored, I'm sure. They'll take a lot of attrition in their battles. And then minus 50% upkeep for Gorger units, which also makes a lot of sense to me. So he'll be rolling with, you know, you might have 6 of these in your army, even in the late game, just because of how good it is to have that upkeep reduction and the increased replenishment rate. And I'm sure you'll have tons of options to augment them and make them even better. So we get a look at some of the big names here. Gore Harvester to generate extra meat. It's a meat diplomacy, like World Swallower looks good. Diplomatic relations plus 20 with all factions and campaign movement range plus 8%. I think you got to go for World Swallower. That's huge, especially if you're trying to have any kind of diplomacy in the game. So let's see, he's got some powerful melee spells. Cost reduction for offers to the Great Maw, that's cool. We've got a summon for a unit of Gorges. We saw that yesterday. Whirling Stump Lanes increases melee attack and weapon strength. And then Driven by Visions, further campaign movement range increases. So very cool. Yeah, he will be hauling butt around the map. So I like that. Of course, what's truly interesting about this start is to the north of Gristle Valley is Reichland and the Empire. Midland, Marienburg, and many more all in the vicinity. At least one will need to die to allow for your expansion. So he's going to be the one if you want to fight. Wow. And he also starts with dwarves as well as his enemy. So he's going to be the one in the west who lets you fight a lot of the old world stuff, which I'm stoked about. And wood elves, and then Kislev, and yeah, maybe, you know, I've definitely played factions before based on their start position, allowing me to fight certain types of enemies. And there's nothing saying you can't try to confederate Greasus later if you enjoy him more and trying to get to play with him. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Brett. Channel's Goodtalk Gaming. And as always, y'all, I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.